Lane demo tapes. Right. Damn. Yeah. So yeah, Dark Lane demo tapes. So what we'll go off is, it's going by the album. What do you guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys give this project from Drake?
Ooh.
Okay, I'll start off with mine. I give it a 6.5 only because of the factors of it's some good tracks on there,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's some tracks that I felt like he was playing around with his, like in typical Drake fashion, he was playing around with different styles, different, rapping kind of techniques, and some of it I wasn't really feeling. So that's the main reason of him getting a 6.5 out of the 7. The only reason why I wouldn't give him a 9 or a 10 is because I want to see the album, like you said, a legit album. And this is
Right,
like a
right.
collection of songs. It's something that, it's good for the people for right now. It's quarantine. We do nothing right now but listening to music, vibing out, staying home. So some good records on there, but 6.5, I mean, given it's a mixtape, 6.5,
That's a pretty
for
good.
me.
Solid.
That's a pretty good number. I do like how Omari made it very clear. It's a mixtape because I think that changes a lot, right? Especially nowadays with the bodies of work and the projects that artists are coming out with. Sometimes, it's a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise when these artists can grab some of these records that either have leaked or they've kind of dropped individually and just kind of give us a nice collection of those records and a place where we can just boom download it, stream it off the rip, and
Yeah,
move on to the
definitely.
next thing. So I definitely agree with you. I would say I'd give it a 7. I give it a 7, for the simple fact that I like that he took this opportunity to just kind of test the waters. Right. This is a perfect way, strategic way to test different flows, different beats, different artists, and kind of going into it without necessarily putting it on a mass project without knowing the reaction of the fans or the music genre of how people are gonna relate to it or not accept it. So I think he did good. I think a 7 is a fair place. I don't think he was going for anything extravagant. Obviously, we know that the album is coming. Uh,
This summer,
yeah.
2020.
So
That's what he said.
the piece of work and what he did here, I enjoyed it, man. I liked it a lot, and I'm glad it happened. I will say though, and I know this is gonna sound a little crazy, but like it wasn't really needed though. It wasn't. We didn't need this, and I'm okay. Like I would have been fine if this wouldn't have came out. I would have been completely fine because we know that this album is coming. We know he's been working on this. I appreciate it as a fan. Absolutely, it's not trash. But honestly, it was it was one of those things that for me,
Money, man.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course, right, of course,
it's yeah. You got these tracks already flowing out, like you said, they were leaked, and to the point, like you said, why not make money off of it? It's a
of
business. At the end of
course,
the day, he's an artist. Why not generate income off of these songs that are already leaked? People want to listen to, like you said, things in one location
right,
instead of having to jump from SoundCloud to YouTube to whatever else you got to go to find these songs. You got
exactly.
them all right here, plus some extra ones he ain't released yet that he released with the album, with the mixtape. I mean,
Yep.
so I mean, you right, yeah. I mean, I like it just too. Like a 7's fair. Like a 7 is fair. I mean, I feel like anything Drake does, and that's just because I'm a Drake fan, but also because of his artistic abilities. He's able to. He kind of started out as a chameleon. He didn't like come in saying or rapping a certain way off rip. He
Right.
came in trying different things out from the jump. And so when you do that, you're able to have longevity. People can't really pinpoint you. Like Madonna, for instance. Madonna, every album, she changed up her whole style, her whole flow, everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
Drake's in the same instance. Like you to have longevity in the rap or in the music industry, period, you kind of can't like in the start of your career pencil yourself as a certain type or a certain way of rapping
Right.
because times change. Like we saw all this happen before. I mean, times change. I mean, you got to if you want to be one of the greats, you got to be able to adapt. And
Absolutely.
this is like you said, a good way for him to adapt, for real. What you
Word,
think,
word.
Love? What do you rate
Yeah.
the album? Well, mixtape. I keep saying album, mixtape.
Yeah. I like your guys' insight, man. That's what, real insightful on your views on the album and stuff like that. And I am radically. No, I'm joking. I'm kind of in the same boat with you guys. Yeah, yeah. I'll give it a solid seven for
Yeah.
the body of work. The way I usually grade music and any project or anything like that is, forgive me if this is not a word, is listenability, right?
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
like if I play through it, we're just gonna call that a word today. So if
Yeah.
I could play through it, right, I could start at the top and I could
Mm-hmm.
just let it sit, let it rock throughout the entire tape from start to finish, and I
Right.
could enjoy it and not really skip around too much. If I skip one song, all right, I don't really put that against the actual work itself.
Yep.
But if I'm like, all right, I like this song, or
Mm-hmm.
if even if I'm on Apple Music and I see like the songs that have like the little stars on the side,
Right. Right.
and I'm like,
Right.
okay, pick
Yeah, I always
that.
try to figure it out. Like always try to figure it
So
out.
I guess that like because those are the most popular, the most
Right.
listened to songs, right?
Yep.
So
Okay.
this one
Good to know.
I started at the top. I started at the top and I went through
Mm-hmm.
and I listened to it like whole thing, and I didn't have to skip too much, right? There was a song, or maybe actually, there was one song that I was like, ah, I kind of blocked this out a little bit, but it
Right.
wasn't bad. I wasn't feeling that song. So overall, listenability. Forgive me if it's not a word. I gave it seven, a solid seven. It
Okay.
was good. Um, to your point of not necessarily needed, I agree with that too, because it's just like, all right, I mean, cool, we know you got something else coming
Yeah.
in the near future, but all right, this is a good little
Little
present,
warm
right, a
up.
little
Little warm
gift,
up.
just a little warm up to and
So hold the
I
fans,
really hope
wet
I really hope
appetites.
that that in reality, like the warm up is for the epic game, like he's
Right.
really about to put on for us
Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
future. So
Man,
I
I hope so, y'all.
definitely agree, man. All right, and then so we're all on the same page with that. Solid little project, good for the
Mm-hmm.
fans.
Mm-hmm.
A little present before the jump off. Now, if you guys could pinpoint three songs off the album, it's okay. If you look at your phones, it's cool. I don't know if you know the
Yeah. Yeah.
off
Yeah.
top, but uh, starting with Devonte, what would you say? Three songs on there that really stuck out to you, man.
So my three will have to be Deep Pockets, Chicago Freestyle, and Losses. You know I love
Ooh.
me a good deep thought Drake song.
Okay.
That's me all day. I'm all for the Drake in his
Yeah. Yeah.
feelings and in him mad at somebody, in him talking about his life. I'm here for all that kind of
Yeah.
Drake. It's
Right, right,
so
right.
those three songs to me they capture like he done been through something, whether it be good, bad,
Mm-hmm.
indifferent, or
Mm-hmm.
he just talking about the fun times. I mean, those like are the Drake that I'm wanting to see on this next project of his. Like that,
Right.
those three songs really depict of the kind of like all the kind of Drake songs that he could ever come out with. Like that kind of vibe is like what I'm feeling. So Deep Pockets, Chicago Freestyle, and Losses. Those are my top three. And to
Ooh.
honorable mention would have to be Landed in War. So, but yeah,
Oh. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
war.
but
I
those
just because
top
I
three.
heard war. And the
You said
war, that's a good thing that you brought war into as like honorable mention, because like I
yeah.
remember when it popped, everybody was like, "All right, Drake, what is you doing?" Like, okay,
I love
Yeah. Yeah.
War.
Yeah.
I be like Warrior.
so that's
Yeah.
really dope
Yeah.
that you point that out. What's
For
up,
sure.
Louis? So we talk.
All right, for me, man, there's just something about Drake's intros, man. That first record for me always kind of sets the tone, man. And I feel like Drake has always been that guy that can do this. So I'm always look forward to that first record. And if that first record can really get me going, I'm always add it to my top three. So I'm gonna go with Deep Pockets from my first record. Um, For my second, I would go with Landed. I just like the way that record makes me feel. I'm just I'm all about that sort of vibe. And then my third is Losses, man. I know Devonte said it, but for me, it's just when you get in there and you could just talk that open and that in detail and those just those Drake records that people love and hate. I'm one of those that love it. So those are my three
Same here, man.
records.
Yeah.
Obviously Chicago. and When to Say When. I like that combo he did when he dropped that. I felt like that was a nice little combo. I really like that. He spoke very, very in detail about some of the things he was going through and thinking about, and stuff that's going on in the industry. Um, and I really like Tootsie Slide. I really like that
Oh
record,
yeah,
man. It
yeah.
makes me
Disney
happy.
Slide.
It's one of those like
Yeah,
God's plan. It was one of those. It just felt
it's one of
it
those
was
fun
good,
songs.
good record.
Oh,
Yeah. So for me, that would be kind of like my records, and then the little honorable mentions as far as myself. What about you though, Omari? What you thinking?
Word, man. Like I said, I like the album totally, man. So I like not album mixtape totally. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got like you, but if I had to narrow it down to my top three, I would say one is Losses. I really like that one, man.
Yeah. It
That hit hard.
resonates with
Um
everybody, huh?
that hit hard. Losses, Chicago freestyle. I really like Chicago because in addition to the when to say when, but the visuals, I was like,
Oh
because
yeah.
every time I listen to it, I just think of like that drive, like
Yeah.
that late night drive,
yes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
like yeah,
That
like pull
drive
up,
music.
just
It's
driving
Mm-hmm.
on you, and
late
you just
night.
in your thoughts, and like so when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, like I'm in my bag, but it's my silent bag. Like nobody else know what I'm thinking about right now. I'm just rocking myself, and I'm just on the road. So
Yes,
that one
sir.
hit home for me. And what is that?
That's two.
What is the name of the song, bro? Hold on.
Oh,
Pull up your
I think
phone.
it's
It's all good. It's all good.
I think it's Desires with Future, and
With
that was a
Future.
leak, right?
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
a leak. I like, you know what? I like it because when you think of music and you think of what's like going on like in your life and stuff like that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you could kind of rest what you're hearing, right? So
Yeah.
Desires hit home for me, and not because I'm having girl trouble or anything, but
Right. Right.
like it kind of
you
really
got
just
clear,
like,
huh? Clear.
'cause, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
For
It just
sure.
hit home. It just hit
Yeah. I
home.
got you. I got you.
And what the honorable mentions that I have is Landed. I like Landed, and I like Florida from Florida with Love. I like that one
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. 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 He. He
And then
just. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
if I had a 6 man, I would say, Demon, because I really rock with
Mm.
that fuck of that New York drill type
Okay.
vibe, and to hear him chime in on that, I was like, hey, okay, I was like,
Yeah.
man, this man can do no wrong. He's everywhere, so
Really.
I
Really.
really
Really
like that.
does. Yeah.
That's,
It.
like that.
that
It's tough because I feel like he catches a lot of flack for trying different things, man. Trying different things, and it's like, look, when we look back in the 2000s, a lot of the artists that we grew up listening to, where they at though? Where they at? That
Exactly.
no, no,
My
and
point.
it's
Yeah.
not, to knock them. Like, there's a lot of artists who's still around, bro. It's no like shade, but let's be real, man. This is about music, and when you can find someone who can diverse themselves, can be diverse, and can just like completely just grow and grow and grow and continue, and even bring people from other genres or other places in the world that we might not know of, but they're popping where they're from. You know what I'm saying? He's done that with a lot of
Right.
UK artists. I mean, he did it with Bad Bunny. He did it with other artists in the past, R&B and stuff. So it's just nice to kind of see him do a little bit of that in this little project he did. Um,
right.
I know this kid Giveon. I think a lot of people thought he was who's the dude from Nothing Was the Same.
Sampa.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was him when the record first came out, and the kid had to come out on Twitter and be like, hey, like, all due respect, that's not him, that's me. And obviously,
Right.
the whole OVO crew gave him his credit, but again, typical Drake, brings in people we don't know, some sounds that we haven't heard of, and just executes, man.
That
Done well.
Sampa era. Oh man, I miss that
Yeah,
Sampa era.
for
That
sure, for
Sampa
sure.
era.
So I got a
Something
question.
else.
This is a question that Devonte asked. We sat down about 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. He asked this question, and I've been wanting to hold off because I said, bro, sit down with this question because it's a really good one. So Devonte, if you want to ask that question that we had talked about, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, if you can refresh my memory a little
Okay,
bit.
so we were sitting talking about Drake, and he said, "Listen, bro, I want to ask you a real question." He said, "Do you think at this point in Drake's career, the music that he's putting out, is it as good as we all think it is? Is it as great as we all think it
Oh,
is? Is he that good, or is it just because it's Drake?" Right? And I was like, I was taken
yes.
back. I was like, that's a really deep question,
Um,
right? Because sometimes it gets to a point where artists are just dropping records, and we're just like, yeah, 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 but like, is it really quality music, or is it just because it's Drake?
and
Stand by.
yeah. Thank you for bringing that
Woo.
back up, bro. I almost did forget. But yes, to that point exactly because I'm a Drake fan, so that's like really like that hits home for me when I brought it up because I'm all for you releasing music, but like, do I like it? Do all of us like it because it's Drake, or is it because it's really good music? You know, that kind
Right,
of vibe. And I say that I don't like every Drake song that he comes out with. Now, kind of listen to everyone and not play Skip. Yeah, I definitely can. I can play every Drake song and not play Skip.
right.
But is he overhyped? Is it really good music? And to give my answer, I would say it's a 80-20 kind of play. It's 80% great good music, 20% just I'm coming out with it because I know people want it and I know they'll eat it up.
Okay.
And I'm all for it because it's a money making business. I mean, you're an artist. This is how you make your living. Well, one of the ways you make your living.
Right.
So it's like, and people are going to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then although you may not think, we don't know what Drake thinks. Probably half the records he comes out with he may not like, but he knows people will like it because it's what the generation listens to him right now.
Right.
So he says, hey, let's get it. Or let's come up with something different. So I feel like it's an 80-20 kind of thing. Like it's 80% genuine, like comes from the heart, kind of like music, and 20% of it is records that he feels would pop in certain areas or would get him out there, people talking kind of vibe.
Right.
And I think that 20% also is, as a fan base, us like loving it because it's just
Of
Drake.
course. Right.
I mean, because it's just Drake. I mean, you got some diehards out here, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a full-on diehard fan, but definitely a big old fan. I don't want to say I'm a
Right.
diehard fan, but I think because I don't think anything that big of anybody besides God. But yeah, I feel like he definitely is, man, somebody that's as at the point of his career where he can come out with anything and it'll just hit. Like Beyonce, she can do that, bruh. I mean, and think
Yeah.
about how he did it. Like 10
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce been out since '98. Now, granted, they may not be on the same exact caliber, but they really are both up there. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like when you can just have something come out and people will eat it up, that says a lot about you as an artist, as an entertainer.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
given the same notion, she's breaking boundaries too. She did country. She did a little bit of gospel like mixes in there within her records. Like as an artist, you have to be, like you said, diverse. Like you have to be able
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to break boundaries and stuff like that. She's done Latin
Absolutely.
music. I mean, you can't
Right.
just sit in one box and expect folks to continue on. I mean, she did a whole African type vibe with Lion King last year. I mean, she did that
Yeah.
just to stay, kind of vibe.
Right.
But I mean, that's a take on is it just because of who he is or if it's good music? I feel like it's an 80-20 kind of rule to it, kind of
Okay.
play to it.
Right.
20%, 80%.
What about you,
What do you
Omari?
think,
What you
man?
think? What you think, bro?
Omari, yeah.
Um, I think I'm thinking I'm gonna give it a little bit more. I'm gonna go down to 60-40. I
Okay.
know he makes great music. I know that for a fact. Because I listen to it, right? I'm a fan as well.
Right.
But I just the level of influence and the level of for lack of a better term, manipulation of the like industry. Like people like we eat things up really quick.
Right.
Like we just want things, right? At a whim. Like So I feel like the influence from the crowd is way more so impactful to his career than the actual music. Literally right now, and a group of people, a massive group of people would be like, all right, I mess with this, right? And then
Yeah.
there's a small group that's gonna be like, nah, not really. So it's not to discredit his, his work ethic or the actual, his craft or his the actual music that he puts out because it's good shit, right? It's good stuff. But I really just think that the industry and us as people, we just have a way more impactful influence on the artist than you know
Fan
than
base
that. So,
is everything. Fan base is everything.
Right.
exactly, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Because when you think about it, right? There's like underground people that are making really good music, but
Right.
nobody's hearing it. So it's like
Exactly.
you can make all the good music you want, right? If nobody's hearing it, it's not touching the right ears, it makes absolutely no difference.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think he's at a point where I think he's on that god level really, as an artist. I mean, there you can't get any bigger. Uh he is an incredible artist who has an incredible team around him. We've talked about that here on the podcast. His delivery and what they're doing over there on that camp is incredible. As far as percentages, the way I would probably break it down, I'd probably break it like 70-30. I know there's a huge population out there who really appreciates his records and really sees music possibly the way we do, right? It's not just necessarily here's the record, throw his voice on top of it, and that's what we hear, right? That's what, but that for us is so much more, right? We're listening for the record, we're listening to the content in the music and everything. So for me, I feel like yeah, he can drop stuff that's probably not the best, but it's still gonna rock it up because of who he is and who he is today. Um, but I know like you guys agree, it's not to discredit his music. I just know there's a few records around and he's dropped a few things that sometimes a little questionable, right? Like I think we could have been fine without that, but cool. Like it is what it is. Um, but I don't think honestly, I don't think he's at the point where people would necessarily say that it's just Drake. So sure, I don't. I hope he never gets to that point. That would be like a scary thing. I think we've seen guys, and it's not to throw shade. I'm just being honest. We've seen guys like Eminem. It's happened. It's happened to him. We've seen it right
It's
where
crazy.
it's happened where like yeah, but like, is it good though? Like, hey, we love it. I'm glad you came out with this, but do we love it? And I don't think people feel like that about him right now, and that's a good thing for Drake.
You start liking the artist more than the art itself.
Exactly.
So when it gets to
Absolutely.
that level, so it's real
I
stuff.
feel like that's a level playing field though too. Like you at some degree, that's what creates super fans. Then I guess that creates levels in fans really. Like you
Right.
got those ones that anything he does, it's gonna be gold to him. And
Yep.
then you got those that were like, you know what? I like Drake when he's more like, in my perspective, when he's more personable, real in his music. But then also, a part of me likes, that part of Drake where he's just making good party music or feel good music in the same
Right.
token. So I feel like as an artist, it's kind of tough sometimes, because you got to go with what the world is liking right now, what you're feeling right
Absolutely.
now, you want to write, and then also if you're under an actual record label that's not independent, what they want you to come out with, and then you got your own views, and all those have to somehow mesh together to create some records that your fans will like and you will be happy with coming out with. Because we see a lot these days, artists big artists and artists that are up and coming are going the independent route because they don't feel like they're getting their voice heard in their music.
For sure.
They
For
feel like
sure.
it's not about their art, it's all about selling records, and
Yeah.
it's a two-way street to it. So I mean, the fact that if you can come out the way Drake and other artists did, and still be able to craft your own music and people love it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do whatever, as that speaks great volumes, as you know, you as an entertainer too as well. I mean, because you're able to have that back end as that major label and still release what you want to an extent, probably.
Right.
So yeah.
I will say though, man, I really like where his head is at. You know, if we look at the sit down he had with the guys over from Rap Radar, right? Elliot and them. Shout out to those guys, B Dot and them. It I just like where he's at, man. I like where he's at mentally. I like his attitude. The fact that he's in good relationship with guys like me, Chris Brown. I mean, look, we got another record with Chris Brown on this mixtape. I'm just happy, man. And that's why I'm so excited about this album because this mixtape reminds me of More Life, right? He's good mood, good music, good vibes, a little soundtrack to kind of throw in the back of your backpack and just kind of roll around in life with. But I'm excited, man. I know he's in a great state of mind. I know he's happy. He announced and showed his kid to us. That was a big move that I know took a lot of
Yeah,
him to
what
do.
about that?
Yeah, so I'm just happy, man. Like I feel like a lot of good music is coming and he's in a good place, man. And that's what you want from an artist. And he wants to
Yeah,
mend any issues with people. Of course, you're gonna have people who, are gonna continue to push that envelope. We don't need to say no names. We know who those guys are. But it's glad to see him stepping up, trying to be the bigger man and and be a good role model and just be a good person and just influence. And I feel like it's mending other relationships across the industry and the culture. So that's good, man.
definitely.
That's it. We wrapping it up.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
That's it.
Thank you so much for
First ball.
tuning in today. We got another episode of the cast and crew in the books. Thanks for tuning in today. Make sure you guys
Yeah.
follow these boys on their socials. It'll be down below in the link or in the bios. Please give a little follow and thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon.
Peace and love.
Peace.